And we are back after a 2-week hiatus. Out of Bounds returns tonight with it's going to be a fun episode. Brandon's here with me. We're going to bring him in a second here. So, have you missed us? It's been 2 weeks. Lost my voice a couple weeks ago. Couldn't go then. Last Monday, what was the issue?
Internet issues.
Internet was down. Yeah, we had internet issues here at the shop, so we were unable to have the show. It would have been choppy, and we didn't want that. I'll say hello to Alex from Detroit. If you are online right now and are watching the show, give us the thumbs up if you like it. If you're watching for the first time on the replay or live, definitely hit us up with a subscription and give us the like as well. This is a Out of Bounds sports talk show where we tell the truth according to us. It's an opinion show. Stuff you won't probably hear on major talk or major television, but we kind of dig a little deeper and we have a little bit of fun with it. So I'll bring Brandon in at this time.
Hey guys.
How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing well. It's nice to see you. It's nice to be back. It's nice to see. Alex. Every week that we were off, Alex was messaging me saying, "Hey guys, like, where's Out of Bounds?" So Alex, we appreciate your patronage.
Would you say Alex #1 fan?
Absolutely.
Of Out of Bounds, Alex is definitely #1 fan.
Hey Andrew.
Andrew, what's going on? So what kind of tea do I have this week?
You have maple syrup oolong.
All right, I got maple doolong dong. We're going to have some maple syrup doolong here. One sip, everybody knows the rules. Stolen from Barstool, obviously.
There's a reason I picked this tea, by the way.
Let me think.
You think about it, I'm going to tell you everyone the story. So Thursday night, after singles night, we went out. Or was it Thursday night? Yeah, after singles night, we went out. Yeah? No.
Yeah, no, Saturday. Saturday.
After our Saturday show, we went out. We went and had pad thai, and Mike was telling me a story about how he had these gigantic pancakes at this thing with the 6 syrups. So as soon as I saw as soon as my tea delivery came in and I saw the maple syrup oolong, I was like, it couldn't have fit better. So they sent me a free sample of that.
Nice.
And that's what you're trying.
The story is I went to, we were on vacation in Hilo, Hawaii on the Big Island, and went to Fred's House of Pancakes, I think it is. Or no, sorry, Ken's House of Pancakes, just up from our hotel. And I walked in, and I seen people eating these pancakes that were like a normal-sized, average human being-sized pancake. And I said, okay, I'm going to order the Hungry Man that comes with the 3 pancakes. Okay? And it was called the Sumo. I thought just Sumo because it was a Hungry Man. But anyways, the waitress was like, okay, that sounds good. So anyways, we're waiting there for our food, and all of a sudden, there's a commotion from the kitchen. And they yell, Sumo! And smash this giant gong, and they come out with this platter of food. The pancakes were stop sign sized. There was a pancake, 6 eggs, a pancake, half a pound of bacon, a pancake, and then sausages on the bottom.
It's like a heart attack waiting to happen.
Yeah, so
that's what it sounds like.
People are looking around. I'm totally embarrassed by this. People are looking around like, what the hell is that? They're like carrying around like boom, 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 boom. I said to the waitress, I'm like, has anybody ever finished this? She's like, oh no. So anyways, is that why you brought the maple?
It is. That's exactly it. Because you told me a story about how they had 6 or 7 syrups on the actual table.
Yeah,
and as soon as maple syrup was one of the ones that you had named, so I was like, oh, okay, this is perfect.
A carousel of syrups. It was like papaya, pineapple syrup, all kinds of different Hawaiian flavors, and then like your traditional maple syrup, sugar-free maple syrup, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I loved it. It was awesome, but a lot of fun. Hey to Amanda, hey to Fred, what's going on? New segment this week. I'm very excited about this. It's going to kick off the show going forward until we come up with something new. We're always thinking of new stuff here.
Yep.
So Brandon, what time is it?
Well, for me, it is time for people in Detroit to rejoice and celebrate.
Do you have a picture of somebody rejoicing and celebrating?
Oh, like this?
Yeah, that's Brandon rejoicing and celebrating about what?
The firing of both Matt Patricia and... Hey, Miguel, how's it going? The firing of both Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn on the same day after that embarrassing loss to Houston. It is about time that they finally have woken up and finally have said, now, don't get me wrong, I think only 3 coaches in the last, out of 12 coaches have had a winning record in Detroit. But the fact that they finally wised up and got rid of them, it just makes... I bet you people in Detroit are probably breathing a major sigh of relief. I don't have any faith in the Fords to replace the GM and the coach. I think it's a really kind of ridiculous idea, actually, that they fired them both at the same time, because how are you going to bring a GM in and then a coach, or are you going to bring a head coach in first and then try to bring a GM to meet them, and then you got to get rid of the coach again? Like, I really don't know what their thought process was to get rid of both of them. Maybe just thought, oh, it was a package deal, and they were done. But yeah, I'm actually really glad that Detroit finally wised up and fired their coach. So,
Alex, living in Detroit, lives with the shadow, the darkness of the Lions hanging over his head. Yeah, so Alex is in agreement with you that it was time for Patricia and Quinn to go. You might be right about firing one before the other, though. I think that was a mistake, firing both at the same time. You kind of throw everything in the blender at that point.
Well, you don't. A GM's job is to hire the coach. So now
Absolutely.
You've got to go.
Well, they're going to have a new GM come in and pick his guy, right? So
Yeah.
they'll have an interim guy for now. Well, no moves will get made until next year. Yeah, what's going on, Miguel?
We appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the sub. Do
you have something that we should be celebrating? What time is it?
Yeah, so it is Fire Matt Nagy o'clock, according to me. The Bears came out and absolutely embarrassed themselves last night. I'm just getting sick of it. The players, so if you watch their body language on the field, the one thing you need to know is that Matt Nagy's lost the team. The team just doesn't want to play for him anymore. I was talking to Mike about it last night, messaging back and forth. Both big Bears fans, him and I have a brighter outlook on things than he does. He's like, you must be drinking when I was talking. I thought Mitch Trubisky played okay. He made one bad pass, in my opinion, in the first half for the interception. But the other stuff that went down, he was something like 7 out of 11 for the first half. I'm fine with that. They didn't have the ball a lot. 2 of those passes, Kmet dropped. Kmet dropped a touchdown. Allen Robinson had a 50-50 ball, which he dropped, which he's been doing a lot this year. So literally, he made 1 incompletion and had 1 interception. He would have been 9 out of 11 with a touchdown, but both touchdown passes were dropped. So how do you blame Mitch?
The game wouldn't have. Well, the game wouldn't have.
Yes,
it wouldn't have won
did
the
matter,
game,
and
but
I'm
they
going to tell you
won the
why.
game.
The game would have been in question if one thing would have happened, and that's Matt Nagy. So when the game was still up in the air, I believe it was 17. I think it was 17-7 at the time. Okay, Trubisky fumbled the ball. The Green Bay defense picked it up, ran into the end zone. On that play, Mitch Trubisky had 2 face masks. He got up yelling at the ref that I was taken down with a face mask twice. Nagy did nothing. Like, he didn't get in the ref's face. He didn't fight for his player.
Well, you can't challenge that play.
No, but I understand that. But can you not challenge it?
You can't challenge it.
Okay, you can't challenge a penalty. Okay. But what a bullshit non-call. A phantom call on Aaron Rodgers for roughing the passer. It was so bad that Rodgers got up and was laughing at the referees and the team. So that's why later in the game, when it was completely out of hand, it was 41. So they just scored the touchdown to make it 41 to, I think, 14 at the time. So completely over with. Rodgers went deep. It was ridiculous. Like, you don't do that when you're up that much. But what had happened after that play is what really upset me. The Chicago corners. I can't remember who they were, but they were high-fiving on the way back. Like, oh, it's okay, man. You know what I mean? Like, no. You see your defenders high-five after giving up a touchdown to make it 41-17 or whatever it was. You bench those guys.
Yeah.
Like,
you got to send a message. I understand that.
You've lost the team, Nagy. I think he came into the season 40% or more of his playbook was directed towards Tariq Cohen.
Yeah.
And when Cohen went down, he didn't have any answers.
He had no back.
He had nothing ready. That's a serious problem. Everything went through Tariq Cohen because he's trying to make him the next Tyreek Hill, which he's not, basically. But everything went through him. and everything fed off of him doing what he could do. Montgomery would be able to run the ball if they had that option. The receivers would have more room. So Matt Nagy had no answers after Tariq Cohen went down. It's time for you to go, man.
All right, real quick over-under before we get into today's topics. And Miguel, love to talk to you about Denver. Are you a Colorado fan just by chance? Are you an Avalanche fan? And a Broncos fan? Over-under. Chicago wins 2.5 games the rest of the year.
Under.
Under, okay. All right, let's get into our first topics today.
They've got Green Bay again once. They've got Houston coming up.
That's a loss.
I don't think they're going to beat Detroit next week.
Oh, they'll beat Detroit.
No.
Oh, Detroit's a dumpster fire. So maybe it'll be a 9-6 game.
No. All right, so let's get to the 10-minute misconducts. We went over a little bit there.
That's fun.
Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. took place on Saturday night. We watched it here at the shop. You didn't come back.
Were you not so disappointed that it ended in a draw?
I don't have a problem with it. A lot of people out there are bitching because it ended in a draw, and I'm going to tell you why it ended in a draw. I think, first of all, it was an exhibition.
Yeah.
That's why they can do that.
Yeah.
It was WBC brought in a Legends crew or whatever to give a grading. What do they call it?
A decision.
A decision. They came to a decision, and nobody was on site. They're like, oh, we're hearing from WBC that they're going to call it a draw. And you look at Roy Jones when they said that, and he's on the stage, and he literally starts shaking his head. He's like, and you can hear him say, that wasn't no damn draw.
Yeah, well,
he knew that he got his ass kicked.
I saw the stats, and it looked like Tyson beat him in every statistical category. Power hits, body hits. Jones said that his body felt like he had got hit by a truck, and he talked about how strong he was.
I was totally impressed with Mike Tyson. He looked as fast, if not, well, not faster than he did in his prime, but it didn't look like he missed a step, guys. Yes, they were only 2-minute rounds rather than 3-minute rounds. Yep. Only 8 rounds. I don't think the end game here. I'll get to that. What he said, it's just a one-off thing for now.
I don't know.
He's trying to raise money for this charity that he's running. But I really think the reason they went to a draw is to entice other legends to come out, because maybe they wouldn't be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Maybe a Lennox Lewis comes back and has a fight.
Evander Holyfield just announced today that he is ready to fight again.
Okay, so the next match we're going to see probably would be Tyson Holyfield again. Huge pay-per-view buys. The biggest disappointment for me, if I would have known, I'm not a big rap fan.
Okay.
I don't mind it, but in between each match, like I didn't know this was going to happen. In between each match, there was literally like a 45-minute music set from different rappers: Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Dogg.
I saw that. Yeah.
A lot of people were upset about that because of the fact that they tuned in. They're sports fans, right? Maybe they're not rap fans. I was okay with it, but I thought maybe mix it up a little bit. Like maybe have rock as well. Maybe have rap. Like a little, like just something different, guys. Like if you're not a big rap fan, you kind of lost the crowd there. It was literally like a 30-minute set in between each fight, having to listen, well, not having to, but like choosing to listen to like Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa, and people I don't even know, you know what I mean? Because I'm not into that.
Sure.
So that, as a sports enthusiast, I thought that was kind of like a downer. Like, why are we waiting 40 minutes for the next fight?
It was almost like a Super Bowl halftime show in between the matches, right?
Between
That's
every fight,
what it
yes.
was, yeah.
And Mario Lopez added literally nothing to it.
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of a downer. Like, I don't know why. I guess he hosts Entertainment Tonight, but you know what I mean? Like, you could have had a better...
They were doing anything they could to get celebrity draw in, right? That's what they were trying to do.
Snoop Dogg on commentary was phenomenal.
Yeah, and he replaced... who did he replace? He replaced a rapper, and he came in last minute, and I can't remember who it was.
But I thought, for those of you out there that watched it, I thought Snoop Dogg did an awesome job. They talked a lot about WWE, which we're going to talk about next.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg talked about Sasha Banks, who's his niece, I believe, is it not? Mentioned Merlin Ronaldo was the play-by-play who got fired or let go by WWE. There's a huge WWE influence on this show from the commentary side of things. What I do want to say, though, is that I think we're going to see Tyson versus Holyfield because the draw is there. The people will pay big money for that. I think this Legends of Boxing / celebrity boxing will take a big turn and be a big draw once fans are allowed back. We had that internet celebrity go up against Robertson.
That was Jake Paul, yeah.
Yeah, so he's taking it seriously. Like, he wants to be a professional boxer. Whereas Snoop Dogg, he's my daddy. Snoop Dogg had a comment where he played college football. He played in the NBA. He says, you can't play boxing. And that was a great comment, that you can't play boxing.
That is true.
It's either you do it or you don't. Incredible athlete, but he got knocked out. It was night and day with that. You could tell he was a puncher. He was lunging towards Jake Paul. No defense whatsoever. A real boxer would just eat him up.
Yeah, understandable.
So it was pretty good.
Now, one of the things that you talked about was that this was the most paid for pay-per-view,
I believe it was, yes,
in history. I'm curious to know if this takes off, because I don't know if it's going to take off as well as you would think. I don't think that there's going to be that kind of a draw for these boxers to come back, particularly with the idea about the CTE. I don't know if anyone's going to want to step into the ring with Tyson unless they're getting paid a mint. Well,
they will.
But
you get a portion of the gate, you get a portion of the
true.
Of the pay-per-view.
But if you look at someone like an Evander Holyfield, for instance, who he's up there in age, and so is Tyson, you take a hit the wrong way at an age like that, it could end your life.
Okay.
I mean, it's.
Here's the thing, though. A lot of these guys didn't take care of their money, and they're broke.
Well, that I understand.
And that's why they will come back and fight. It's the whole bum fight, mentality, hobo fights or whatever. Like, if you have no money, you're going to fight to survive.
Yep.
Right? Evander Holyfield, I believe, went bankrupt several times.
And it's all they know how to do, I suppose. So, I'll give you that as a point. I just don't know if anyone's going to want to risk their health for that money. It'd be interesting to see.
With Tyson being behind things, kind of running things, he's a major player.
Yeah.
They asked him in the post game, like, where do you go from here? He goes, what do you mean, where do I go from here? Like, we have nothing planned as of yet. But I think Mike's gonna start fielding calls from ex-boxers, older boxers, and celebrities that maybe do boxing in their spare time to get on the next card, because it's a huge moneymaker. As long as Tyson's on the card, it's a moneymaker. If he boxes every 6 months, which is doable.
That's what I was just gonna ask. what's the time in between?
I think he goes about 6 months, and then he'll line up the Holyfield fight. But I honestly think you're gonna see. Because the money is so good, I think you see guys like Mayweather come over to him, like Mayweather Productions come over to him, non-sanctioned, and then Mayweather can fight a guy like they did with Conor McGregor.
Okay.
Which would alleviate Tyson having to be the main event that night.
It's
a cross
idea.
promotion. Yeah, you don't need the WBC's permission. You call it a exhibition like they did. There's lots of loopholes. The problem with the draw, the only thing I'm hearing, people bet on this.
Yep.
So a lot of people put money down on Tyson or Roy Jones Jr. A draw, slate was wiped clean.
Yep.
But a lot of people were fuming because they put serious money down on Tyson, who should have won. Yeah. Technically, like if anybody out there was watching, won the damn fight. You know what I mean?
So those of you who are watching,
we got a question here. Celebrity deathmatch, kind of like okay. Who's better between Tyson or Roy Jones Jr.? It was evident last night. Saturday night, who was better?
It was hands down Mike Tyson.
Hands down.
Sure
Mike Tyson, in my opinion, is the best puncher ever. I'm good friends with him. I'm not good friends with him. I've met him. I've had talk with him and stuff.
Yeah. You went for supper with him, right?
He was there, but we didn't eat dinner at the same table. It was just a group of sports card owners. But really cool dude. Mike Tyson, not the biggest dude in the world, probably about 5'7", 5'8". When I shook his hand, we got pictures here in the shop if you guys ever want to see it. When I shook his hand, I said, "Hey Mike, do you still do the punch pose?" And he said, "No, I don't do that anymore. It's where he used to give pictures where he's punching you in the face like this, right?" He goes, "Okay, one time." So I've got a picture in the store where he's giving me the hook. And but what I remember about Mike Tyson is that I'm talking to him, and something was happening with one of his entourage, you call him. He had another engagement that night, and something was going wrong, and he got fired up. Like, he literally, I'm shaking hands with this guy, and he's keeping my hand in his hand as he's getting fired up with his entourage
Could
guy.
you feel your hand getting crushed?
Oh, yeah. No, he wasn't crushing my hand, but I'm like, Mike, if you don't settle down, I'm gonna have to take you out. Like, I was serious with him. He, I didn't say that. I'm like, you all right, man? Like, what's? You go, oh yeah. And this is why it's not a kid's show, folks. This is what he said. He goes, they always trying to fuck me. You know what I mean? Like, and he was a serious dude.
Yeah.
So, totally blazed out of his mind that night. It was awesome.
Okay, we got about 20 seconds left. I got to know from those of you who are watching, one, would you get behind this? Is this something that you would pay every 6 months to see?
I would pay for it.
Okay.
I'm paying, like, here's my money. I want to see Mike Tyson. He's the biggest draw in boxing, in my opinion, ever. Here's my money. And will it wear off over time? Yes. But everybody, if you were on Facebook or social media on Saturday night, people you didn't even know were boxing fans, because they're not. But they're like, oh my God, Mike Tyson is fighting again. Here's my money. All right. Everybody was talking about it.
What's the most you're willing to pay for this?
What did it go for? $60?
I think it was like $60, yeah.
$60 Canadian, probably like $40 American.
If this gains steam, you're not paying $60 to watch those fights anymore, though.
Absolutely, you are.
No, like, no, you're paying more than that. It's not going to be $60. You're going to end up paying more than that.
So I'll get to it. You can go to the next topic. I'll finish it. So Mike Tyson, I got my picture with him and all that. The thing I remember most about him, I've got pretty big hands. I'm a big dude. Mike Tyson's hands made my hands look like a little kid. His fingers were basically the size of sausages. Basically, it would be like getting hit with a frying pan.
Yeah, it's years of inflammation from punching stuff, though, right?
But it is. But his hands, like just the size of his hands, easy, the size of a frying pan.
Cool.
Like a mid-sized frying pan. Just insane.
I would not want to get hit by him. Okay, we got to go to topic number 2.
WWE call and / email. So, for those of you that don't know, WWE's been running their events sans fans, without fans. For those of us that are WWE fans, it kind of ruins the product. They do have these TVs around, and it's called Thunderdome. It was okay for the first few shows, but basically it's what the NBA did with people watching the show with computers.
They're linked in, and you can see their webcam.
And they hold up signs and, all that kind of stuff, right? Not the greatest environment. They pipe in the sound. It's not even actual real sound from the video feed.
Yep.
It's boos and ahs and ees and oos and whatever. Not the best. So with COVID hopefully coming to an end soon, with the vaccine that's coming, or with things loosening up a bit once the vaccine's available, I got an interesting email from the WWE. As a ticket purchaser in the past, they had my information, and I was able to take part in a survey they wanted to know. So WWE has been emailing former ticket purchasers and asking a series of questions. I believe it was like 30 to 50 questions. I can't remember the actual amount. It was quite a few, though. It took me about 20 minutes. When will you be comfortable coming back to the venues for live events? Will there have to be restrictions in place for these events for you to come back? What are you? This is where it gets real interesting. What are you willing to pay when live events return? And they broke it down: upper bowl, lower bowl, and ringside. You put a dollar value on what you would be comfortable paying to get into the venue. So this opens up a completely new can of worms, because I've been saying since the start, once we're able to go back, it's not going to be down. It's going to be a renaissance. So in the U.S., for example, you guys are just whatever. You guys don't even care, it seems, like masks, whatever, we're going to go do what we want. So you're telling me that when you're available to finally go back to a sporting event, that you're going to say no, and you're going to show restrictions? Not a chance. You're going to fill that event, and what I'm going to say is you're going to see record ticket prices on resale sites.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
So these tickets,
they'll be the hottest things you can buy.
If you have the money to do so, or have season tickets for an event, do not pass them up due to COVID. Even if you, I know Mike has Bears tickets. Obviously, he had to pass on them. They're not letting people in the game anyways.
Yep.
but he would have to quarantine when coming back, and he can't drive over. So he could have flew out of Toronto to Chicago.
That's an expensive football game.
Yes, it is. Watch a game, but if you only get one chance, right?
Yeah, that's right.
One time, maybe you do it. But next year, when able to do so, season tickets, buy them. If you have a chance to buy tickets for any event that's going to be in demand whatsoever, say like World Series, WrestleMania, we're talking wrestling, anything along those lines, if you want to make a little bit of dough, the resale value on these tickets, because tickets go on sale like 6 months to 9 months in advance. So maybe COVID's just starting to ease up with the rules.
Yeah.
You're thinking down the road. You put these back for sale when everything's like gung-ho, let's go. You know what I mean? You're going to make a mint on these. People have money that they're dying to spend. Every single industry is up right now for spending because of the fact that we have no live events to go to. We have no movies, like very limited movies anyways. People aren't going for dinner. It's all retail, folks. Retail is up. I own a retail shop. I can tell you right now, things are absolutely insane. Unlike ever seen before.
Did you think that email raised a lot of red flags for WWE, as in
yes.
like they may be in financial trouble?
Absolutely. So I know they're in financial trouble because of the fact that live revenue was one of their big revenue streams.
Of course.
They do have the WWE Network, which is a continuous revenue stream, which is unbelievable, like genius idea, really. They were before Disney Channel, folks. Like they knew what they were doing as far as streaming goes. Netflix was a thing at the time, a couple other those streaming sites, but WWE Network's been around for almost 5 years now.
But could you see, like, they have 3 brands. They have
Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
Okay, so could you see like an NXT just shutting down?
No, because
they
NXT
can't afford to keep
NXT has a very, very minimal operating cost because it takes place in one venue.
Okay.
It doesn't travel.
Okay.
And it's actually a developmental. So it's basically like their minor leagues for coming up to Raw and SmackDown.
Okay, could you
Raw and SmackDown are the ones that are going to take a huge hit. Raw used to be the flagship.
Mm-hmm.
Now that SmackDown is on Fox, they're fine, folks. They're not going to go out of business. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Could you
Fox,
see them trimming rosters at all or anything
they
like
have,
that? Okay.
They have. They have definitely cut some of the roster. Guys like Zack Ryder and who else? I got kids. What's his name? Heath Slater, like guys that were mid-card guys or lower, what do they call them, enhancement talent. A lot of the enhancement talent's been let go. A lot of wrestlers right now are sitting at home with nothing to do, but they're choosing to do it. A lot of guys are just taking time off because of COVID. Kevin Owens wasn't taking part for a while. He's finally back now. Guys were healthy but just didn't want to travel and didn't want to take part. So I know they saved money that way as well.
Okay.
They saved a ton of money not re-signing Brock Lesnar, who's currently a free agent.
Have they ever talked about what the financial loss or what the financial hit was? Like I know Major League Baseball lost $3.1 billion last year. Have they talked about wrestling? What the wrestling's lost?
So WWE is now publicly traded. So that information is available if you want to find it.
Okay.
But I don't care that much, folks. I know they're doing fine with the network. They did lose some. They did lose some viewership on the network, some subscriptions. Just due to the fact that the product's pretty stale right now. People are probably just saving their $12 a month or whatever.
Yeah, it's one of the things that you said you didn't really like where things were going, SmackDown, Raw, or NXT.
It's a bad product. It's a bad product. But it doesn't change my mind, being a fan of live events, music, sporting, the fact that this past year I was actually going to go to WrestleMania. So I was going to finally, I've never been to WrestleMania before. I want to take part in the event. I know it's a massive event. It's not just about that night. I wanted to take part. COVID hits. I'm not able to do that. WrestleMania due to take place this year in LA at the brand new, I think it's SoFi Stadium. They won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Trust me, they picked the wrong place to do it in. If COVID restrictions were eased up and they had a chance to do it, they don't have the right city to do it in
LA.
If they were trying to have it again this year in Tampa, where they canceled it last year, Tampa would, once the vaccine comes about, Florida's going to be open for business. LA, California, they're taking things really seriously.
They're really slow. I know
they're really slow as well. They're not letting anybody in the games, as far as I know. Like businesses are still locked down.
Yeah.
So if we reversed it, there'd probably be fans for WrestleMania this year in Tampa. But they're probably going to have to do something else for WrestleMania this year. So with it being scheduled for SoFi Stadium in is it SoFi?
The new one, right?
Yeah, in LA. Yeah. I seen the stadium being built. Looked pretty cool. We were there 2 years ago for the Upper Deck convention.
So you were going to travel to Florida to go and see this?
I was going to travel to LA this year.
You're going to travel to LA.
I was going to travel to LA in January anyways, but that's been canceled. The event was scheduled for LA again. So I was going to be in LA back-to-back months pretty much.
All right. So if there's the opportunity for you to go, let's say they open up the border, they allow you to cross, no vaccine, you going?
No.
Okay. So it has to be vaccine. Vaccine is a deal breaker for you, red line?
No, I think it's not. I think it's just too early.
Okay.
Let's give it 6 months to a year, and then we'll go. Then I'll be all over the place.
So I guess we only got a few seconds left here. What is the first sporting event that you are dying to get back to? What's the first one you're going to go back to?
It'll be a WWE event. I'm a fan. Like actually, when COVID hit, we had tickets. It was about 2 weeks before WrestleMania, or sorry, was it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? It was very, very close to WrestleMania. Had tickets for SmackDown. It was the first Friday night SmackDown after Fox purchased the rights to it, which was a big, big moneymaker for WWE. That's why they're not in financial trouble. They just got a massive amount from Fox.
Okay.
TV deal. So when they did that, Friday night SmackDowns became the show. It used to be Monday Night Raw, the flagship, but SmackDown is the show now. 3 weeks out from WrestleMania, everybody was scheduled to be there. Every major star they had, that was on the SmackDown brand, obviously. And obviously it got shut down. We didn't know until 3 o'clock that day. We were ready to walk out the door and go do SmackDown in Detroit, and they literally canceled the event. It was the last event they canceled because Vince is an idiot. Like he loves his money, right? So he's very gung-ho with the making sure the product runs and that.
Okay.
He was the last guy to cancel. He was also the first guy, if you remember, to have a live sporting event after 9/11.
Yes.
9/11 happened on a Monday morning. They held SmackDown that Tuesday night.
Yeah, I remember that.
They said the show must go on.
They said the country needed it. They said they needed
Yeah,
something to heal.
Yeah.
But they wanted the cash. I understand. Okay, so topic number 3, we're talking about greedy NHLers.
Greedy NHLers, yeah. So they're going to cancel the NHL season maybe because the players aren't willing to budge on this NHLPA, the CBA. So have you guys lost your effing mind? Like, how do you expect the owners to pay you when there's zero revenue?
Yeah.
Like, just say, hey, we're happy to get what we can get this year. Come to an agreement. This is all you got to do, guys. Come to an agreement. Say, we'll give 40% back this year if you top us up 40% at the end of our deal.
That makes sense. That makes total sense.
What is going on?
Yeah, I don't.
Instead, you're just going to cancel it?
Well, I know that Bettman is still trying to push for a January 1 start, eh?
It's not happening.
He's still pushing, and they're still talking about changing around those divisions so that way you could get at least some semblance of a season. So, like, we might see all that, the all-Canadian division.
For sure. It is definitely, the divisions are done.
Yeah.
They're also we're going to rename the division, the old division names like the Norris and the they're doing all the original division names.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. I like the idea
for
of bringing
1
that
year
stuff
only.
back.
Why not bring it back permanently?
I don't know. Everything else is going.
What's old
everything
is new
else
again.
is going out nostalgia,
yes.
Right? We're all thinking about nostalgia. We talked about the
jerseys, the Wales Conference and Campbell Conference. Yeah. They're great looking jerseys, and people would buy them.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But the whole thing about the NHL and the idea about them potentially losing a season because of that makes the players look like
the players
dicks.
Are the problem here.
Yeah, it makes them look like dicks.
First of all, they're doing everything that they can to let you play and earn a contract.
Yes. When
there's zero revenue other than television revenue.
Yes.
Advertising revenue, such as that. Merchandise maybe on the smaller scale things. But there's literally zero ticket sales to pay. And Bettman came out and said earlier this week, or maybe it was today or yesterday, that 80% of an owner's revenue comes from ticket sales.
Yes.
So how are you supposed to pay out the entire payroll when you only have 20% of the money to play with? And that's why you're going to see teams go out of business.
Yes. You're going to see teams fold. Absolutely.
That's right.
I agree with that.
If they miss this year, there are teams in the league that are in serious financial trouble because of the owner being in financial trouble. Yeah. Either they sell the team, they can't give away money that they're not making. They can't go into the red because they want to be friends with you. They're business people. I don't see it happening. I think the players are being very selfish here. There's a very easy way to do this, and I said it.
Prorate the contracts.
Prorate the contracts and back end them.
Yes.
Okay? Prorate it. 48 games, you're making $10 million. You're playing 60% of the games. You're getting $6 million this year. What they prorated anyways, but they wanted to take a percentage off of that prorated as well.
Yes.
And then because there's no revenue. So I understand the players saying, no, I don't want to do that because we're already losing 40% of our pay. But all the owners have to do is say, hey, we'll give you 10% next year, 10%.
Yeah, we'll sweeten it. We'll sweeten your deal.
Yeah, we'll give it back to you. But
as a result of this, can you see them, the league, saying, okay, we're going to hack the salary cap then, and you're going to have to take pay cuts? Can you see them doing that?
I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. I would say, look, well, they can't do that because it's negotiated in the CBA.
I know, I understand that but the CBA is going to have to come due at some point, and
it just did. That's why they're saying this was the CBA was signed last year. I think it was prior to COVID.
4 years, right?
Or was it 6? I'm not sure.
It might have been
I'm not sure the length of the deal of the CBA. But what I'm saying is that it was signed just prior to COVID, I think, before shutdown, before the start of last season. How did they know? Like, help us out here. Work together. Figure this shit out. Go back to the table. Make some adjustments to the CBA because you are in a pandemic. You are in unprecedented times. Have a brain here.
Yeah. You're giving up a honey deal if you don't bend a little bit. Right? Like, I get it. I totally understand what it is that you're saying.
I can see it from the player standpoint. Maybe you've only got a year left to play. Maybe you're an older player and you don't want to give up that extra couple $1 million because it's your retirement fund.
Maybe you're just not that good.
Maybe you're not that. Maybe this is your last contract. Maybe you only got a year or two left on your deal and they can't extend it for you, like the 10% annually. Or maybe you're John Tavares and you're being overpaid, period.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's not worried about it.
I don't think he is either.
He's shooting Hyundai commercials in Toronto in his jammies.
Oh, yeah.
So, but it is interesting that why greed is such a horrible thing. It's why your tickets cost $400.
Well, I was just going to say, what the problem is that once you start to get fans back in the stands, that cost is going to be downloaded onto the average person who's going to go and watch the game. So
we're going to be charged an extra 40% for a ticket if that's the case.
You're going to price out anybody who is on the bubble of not being able to afford that game anymore, and then maybe instead of going to 4 or 5 games a year, you go to 1, or you go to none, and you just say, I'm going to go 1 every year.
That's a good thing in a way because you know what I mean? Like, the average person's, giving up 2 mortgage payments to go to a game anyways,
yes.
if you've got a family of 4. So, you save all year to go to 1 game. Well, maybe because the tickets go up, those people still go, but now another family can go as well.
That's true, but the only problem with that, though, and what I foresee is because that cost is going to have to increase probably fairly exponentially, I would think. It's going to be something where you might have another family who gets an opportunity to go, but they're only going to be able to go 1 time. You want repeat people coming in,
Absolutely.
And you can't.
Actually, can't. I think if I were the owner of a pro sports team, I want more eyes on my product, not the same corporate eyes every game.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because if you take your family of 4 to 1 game a year, you're going to buy your kid a jersey, you're going to buy him a foam finger, you're going to buy him this, and this.
You're going to buy popcorn and drinks. Yeah.
Whereas the corporate guy, like myself, gets invited to a game for free. I walk in, I go straight to the booth upstairs, I get fed for free. I don't buy any jerseys, I don't buy any merch at the stand. It's all in the house, right?
Yeah.
So they want more average viewers or middle-class money coming through the door because they've already got the high-end money. And they're not the high-end money. They're not buying their kid a jersey every game. So if you can get more people in that are buying the merch and buying, we go for dinner. Like a lot of us, when we go down there, I know the guys that we used to go with, the corporation we used to go with that paid for our tickets basically. We wouldn't do anything. We'd just show up at the venue, eat, and get the hell out of town.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like, if you're coming from Chatham, where we live, taking the day off work, driving down there, you're going to have dinner before you go to the game, you're going to have snacks at the game, maybe buy merch, maybe do this, maybe do that. These guys are shooting, they're working to 5, 6 o'clock, driving across Toronto, get to the game, and then having beers, which they've already paid for anyways, or it's on the deal.
There's no investment.
There's no investment to the city. There's no investment to additional funding towards the team. There's nothing being done there other than them just showing up because the money's already in their pocket.
Yeah, I just can't see the people who are struggling financially right now going to a sporting event. Well, it might be a great Christmas present, or it might be a great night out.
They can't wait, man.
They maybe, but I don't think that it'll be a long-term solution. I don't think that they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to go buy season tickets.
So they're gonna dink you for the first year or two, and then they'll have to level back out.
Do you think so? I don't know if that'll happen because I think with inflation going up, I think with all these things, they're going to want to recoup as much money as they possibly can.
They're going to do it in a 2-year span.
As quickly as they can.
2-year span, and then they'll get back to ticket. First of all, what you need to understand is ticket prices never go down.
No, that's what I'm saying.
They always go up.
When will they? So if you're thinking that 2 years they're going to try to, as you said, dink you, when will they go down? When will they have to level off?
They'll just stay. They won't
so they'll
keep
just
going.
level off. Okay.
They'll initially put it up, and then up again, and then it'll just kind of stay there.
What do you think in terms of a percentage of those things going up?
40%. I'm telling you right now.
Both years?
No, 20 and 20. Okay. So you're going to see a $300 ticket be $360, and then $420 next year.
Yeah. I don't.
Is it out of range? I think that's where it's at.
I think for a lot of people, I think that.
No, but what I'm saying though, like, do you think that's too high of a number, or do you think that's what?
Well, it depends on it depends on the person and their situation, but it also depends on how close they're going to get to the action.
So it also depends on the government.
Well,
so the government, rumors are COVID tax coming. So you're going to see an extra 2% or 3% on everything you buy. So maybe it's not going direct to the team, but it's going to the government, which puts the ticket prices up.
Well, they got to download those costs on someone, right?
That's right.
Alrighty. Last topic before the free-for-all. We were talking NFL COVID concerns. Baltimore and Pittsburgh just got moved back to Wednesday again.
Okay.
So just today, they just got moved back again. They've also closed down a bunch of training facilities. So there is a bunch of practice facilities that are closed as a result of NFL players not being able to keep to keep unsick, to keep not getting sick.
I was having a hard time with this one. I wanted to talk about this, but I had a hard time with the wording of it. I don't have any NFL COVID concerns. I have NFL COVID conspiracy / why does it only matter for some teams concerns?
That is my concern too, because you've got like a team like a Baltimore, for instance, where their star player, their quarterback gets COVID. Now all of a sudden we push the game back, but you get other teams where it might be a defensive lineman.
Denver they have no quarterback.
Yeah.
Every single quarterback in the Denver system goes down with COVID protocol. They have to bring up a guy from the practice squad who completes one pass for, I think, 13 yards. The first game in history that there were more interceptions than completions in a game. 2 interceptions, 1 completion. It did happen once before in a San Diego game. I think Ryan Leaf was the quarterback, actually. But why does it only matter if it's a star player? That's what I want to know. Why? Is this not the second time that it's happened?
This is the second time that it's happened, yeah.
Pittsburgh's been shut down a couple times now.
Yes, they have.
Pushed back.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson gets COVID. Whoa. We need to push the game back. We can't afford to not have him play. What the hell is going on?
Which is surprising because Lamar Jackson has not played very well this year. Baltimore has not played.
He
is still a stud. I get it. I understand.
I'm not talking about how he's playing. I'm talking about the fact that people pay money to watch him play.
He's a draw. I understand that.
Revenue is coming from commercials right now, from TV deals. Nobody's watching that game if they've got the backup quarterback.
I understand that.
They're going to watch to see if Pittsburgh continues to be 11-0. But that's about the only draw to that game.
Now, the interesting thing about that, and we talked about this on Saturday, was we talked about what if Pittsburgh goes 15-0 and they out cancel this game, because there was talk about them being able to cancel. But as a 15-0 Pittsburgh Steelers team, you have the opportunity to go undefeated in the regular season, which has only happened twice, right? You had the New England Patriots, you had the Miami Dolphins go 12-0, Miami 16-0. New England, and here's Pittsburgh with the opportunity to do so, and they've got a pretty clear path to do so.
Yes.
Their schedule is pretty easy.
If I was a player on Pittsburgh or a fan of Pittsburgh, I would be irate by this.
Oh, for sure.
Play the damn game. This is a record that matters. This is an undefeated season. It matters to the team. It matters to the fan base. It's a very elusive club. They have to play that game.
Do you think that the league will try to say something to Pittsburgh and say, you know what, we're not going to play the game. You should be resting your players.
Well, they were talking about a forfeit.
For Baltimore?
For Baltimore.
Okay.
So they were talking about
I don't think
Baltimore.
that's fair.
No, that is not fair either. You can't allow other teams to move around games and then have to forfeit one, especially when this game matters to them.
It does. Because it's playoff.
This is playoff implications. That's the only way I see the game not taking place is if Baltimore has their spot in the playoffs or has missed the playoffs and the game doesn't matter to them.
Baltimore is too close to that, though, right now. They're on the
bubble. But what makes this game important for Pittsburgh, the fact that Kansas City might be sitting at 15-1 after the season finishes,
and Pittsburgh
and
at 15-0.
They could get the first seed even though Pittsburgh, didn't play the completion of the games.
Absolutely, I understand that. So there is a little bit of a...
They both have something to play for as of right now.
I almost wonder, and I read this online about them changing the playoff format and having a play-in or something along those lines.
Well, they have 7 teams in the playoffs now.
Yeah.
So one team's going to get a bye. That is a very big thing now that only one team from each conference gets a bye. Very big thing. That's a huge advantage for, obviously, like people like if you have COVID, you don't have to practice, all that stuff. You can be completely healthy coming into the game. Health is a big thing in the NFL. A lot of players get hurt all the time.
Yeah, and they play injured and stuff.
So
and you never get a
buys
chance
matter.
to possibly heal.
What's interesting about it though is the fact that I was just going to say that Pittsburgh, maybe they don't have anything to play for at that time. So here's the thing: if Pittsburgh loses a game from here to that time,
I don't think it matters.
They don't play anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it
so
matters.
So if Pittsburgh's coming into that game 14-1 and they have the chance to bypass that game, they'll just be like, "We're good."
Yeah.
Because technically they would get a bye week then.
Yes, and that I would understand. But if they're 15-0 and there's the opportunity to play and they try to make them not play, I think you're 100% right when you have to play it. It doesn't make sense for them not to play it, simply because you're looking at an elite record that does not happen hardly ever. Happened in 72. Happened in, 2012? Was that the year New England
You're
went?
the New England fan.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's 2012. And then potentially in 2020.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. The COVID thing, cases are going up right now. What did I read yesterday?
Exponentially going up. They are like 2,000 deaths a day in the States right now.
But what did I read? The amount of the cases in, I think it was Michigan. I can't remember. There's like 30,000 cases a day.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, you know what? It's happening here in Ontario, too. Like,
Not that bad.
But we're up to 1,800. It was just like a couple of weeks ago when we were at 500.
Yeah.
And it's been 2 weeks, and we're at 1,800. We're averaging 1,800.
Well, geez, Brandon, it is flu season.
Well, that is true, but not everything. But they do actual tests on you now.
I get that, but what I'm saying though is like you're not seeing like the COVID cases you're seeing are pretty much in line with the amount of flu season cases we would have seen.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they
So
test.
people-
They don't test
people-
for flu like that, though. So.
I get that, but what I'm saying though is like nobody's getting the flu this year.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure there is flu, but they're only tracking the COVID cases.
Of
right?
course they are, because
So-
fear is important.
Well,
We can talk about it all day about stuff like that, but what I'm saying though is that, they want the numbers to be high just to keep people scared. That's a political thing, but we won't get too much into that. But that's the thing I want to talk about is that the NFL, I don't understand what their end game is with this, like why they would put this on some teams that they have to play and some teams don't have to play.
yeah, that I don't understand either. Like, talk about special treatment.
Like, why didn't they let Denver push their game back?
Talk about special treatment.
Well, they said it was because the COVID protocol wasn't followed or something like that. They didn't have their COVID cases in time to postpone the game. I don't know, because like they're moving games around like crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you still think they're going to finish the season?
Oh yeah.
Do you still think they'll have fans in the stands for Super Bowl?
Yes.
Okay.
They have fans in the stands for the Tampa Bay game yesterday.
I wonder what those tickets for a Super Bowl would cost.
They're going to be really, really high. So a Super Bowl ticket, I think you used to be able to get a Super Bowl ticket for the nosebleeds for about $1,000.
Yeah.
You're probably looking at $10,000 a ticket minimum for.
I would think so too.
For this, just lower bowl. I think they'll just do lower bowl.
I agree with that, and I wonder if they'll still have those protocols in place where you only get a certain section every 6 seats or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And because it's such a big event, I think they will have the plexi up with doors and everything. Like, it'll be completely contained. Like, you're not, you know what I mean? Like, You'll have a waitress. The tickets are going to be so expensive. I bet you have your own waitress. A la carte. Order what you want. They bring it to you.
You know what would be really interesting?
You shit in a bucket inside the
in your bubble.
In your bubble.
You know what'll be really interesting is
don't leave the bubble.
If somebody contracts COVID that media week, what do they do during the game? Do you think they can postpone the game?
No, they don't postpone the game at all. Just
so
gone.
What if your star player is
gone?
You think so?
They're not postponing the Super Bowl. Like too many ads.
Let's say Patrick Mahomes is in it, and let's say Patty Mahomes. Okay.
There's only so much they could do. The Super Bowl is scheduled for that day. It's a logistical nightmare. It's easier to play the game without a player than it is to reschedule everything.
Oh, that I understand for sure.
They're not rescheduling the Super Bowl regardless.
Okay.
The only thing that I think would cancel it if something terrible happened and like half your team died of it.
Yeah, both teams end up getting COVID.
Then they'd have to do something.
You're running a practice squad for both. We only got a few seconds left. What'd you think of the female player? Sarah Fuller.
Publicity stunt.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's I don't care. She played really well.
She kicked the ball once.
Yeah, well, she played really well.
In the one kick
the one kick that she did. Actually, the kick wasn't all that great. I think it only went like 40 yards or something like that. It wasn't a great kick. I think you think it was a publicity stunt, eh?
Halftime festival. Yeah, they've got the Weeknd doing the halftime show at the Super Bowl. The woman playing football. It's a joke. It's a publicity stunt. First of all, a kicker's not a football player. It's a kicker. He's part of the team, but let me be completely honest. Not part of the actual football team, if you ask me.
Well, some of those kickers are the highest scoring
I know they are,
players on the team.
I get that. And you know what it just I talked to you about it. It's a publicity stunt. That's all it was. They were down 41-0 at the time or something like that.
Yeah, they were down quite a bit.
So why wasn't she your starter for why wasn't she your punter or your kicker? If you want to make a statement, you let her be your punter or kicker full time.
I got to start somewhere, right?
I guess, but if she's good enough to come out when you're down 41-0 or up 41-0, shouldn't she be good enough all the time?
Well, I agree with that.
So if that's not the case, then she shouldn't be there at all.
I think it's just cool to see some of those gender.
Let her play offensive line and get destroyed.
Some of those gender barriers go down.
But what I'm saying, it's not. The gender barrier is not being destroyed there.
But a kicker.
It's being played with.
Okay, well, a female, even remotely playing in any football game, I think is something that is.
I've seen a ton of like high school football players that are females playing like offensive line or playing.
But you're also not playing against guys who are 300 pounds that could literally rip you in half with their bare hands.
Then why are you there?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why a kicker, I think having a female kicker, I think is.
So you're saying that a woman couldn't be
a defensive lineman?
A regular player?
No, I'm saying it
because that's what's gonna knock down the gender barrier. Well, it's not a kicker.
But you also could severely hurt any player who's not ready. You step up onto an offensive line or
I'm just saying, like that's what I'm saying though. Is it's like this is the free for all, folks. That's what I'm saying though. Is like it's a joke to me. Okay. It's a joke. It's like having Manon Rion be an NHL goaltender, played in an exhibition game, played goaltender, right? She's not taking a body check, folks. So all I'm saying is it real? No, it's just for publicity. It's almost an embarrassment to me. I would be embarrassed because you're going to go around saying you played in an NFL game or an NHL game.
With NCAA, but yeah.
Whatever. No, you didn't. You kicked the ball when you were down 41-0. I'm not trying to take it away from her. Like, cool accomplishment.
It doesn't sound like it.
No, but cool accomplishment, whatever. But I don't see it as real. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I'm not saying that maybe in the future that we don't see someone play like corner. Corner's a position that maybe a female could play.
Safety.
Safety, corner, whatever you want. Fast, tall, lanky. Very athletic, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, could they tackle a guy, though? Like, could they tackle me coming down the field? Probably not.
Well, I think if they teach them how to tackle, the problem is they don't practice tackling. They don't have tackling practice at practices anymore, right? That's why you see Derrick Henry running through 8 tackles in yesterday's romp.
But what I'm saying, like, you could have if a 350-pound guy that does it for a living can't take down Derrick Henry, there's not a woman on the planet that can do it. Would you agree?
I will disagree. I will disagree with that because I think that if a guy is running, if someone goes low enough and grabs the ankles, that player...
Man. Not a chance. You get lucky.
They're too
9 out of 10, not a chance.
They're too top heavy. The guys are too top heavy with too much muscle that if you take out their legs, they're already falling and the momentum is carrying them forward.
If he was going down anyway,
you could sneak a tackle in there for sure. Now I'm not going to say that a female's going to lead any sacks, but honestly, if you had someone running and trips, you have someone running and take their legs out, you can take them down.
Yeah.
You can.
Okay, yeah. If they get lucky,
I saw it in Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh my God. He wanted to bring this up, and he wanted to have it as a topic, and I'm like, do not let me talk about this.
No, that's fine.
I just think it's a joke, guys. It's a publicity stunt.
But what do they gain from it? What is the
viewership? They got people watching. You know what I mean?
Women are too top heavy.
Top heavy.
Yeah, women are top heavy.
Oh man. It's just it's a cool achievement, but is it an achievement? Like, that's all I'm saying. Regular position, I don't think it happens in our lifetime.
Would you see a female playing NBA?
Yeah, we do. LeBron James. Kawhi Leonard on, what do they call it?
The Clippers?
Load management.
Yeah,
We're talking about load management.
Load management, yep.
No, I don't think you see a woman play any of the 4 professional sports at any time in our history.
Okay.
It's nothing against them. It's just they have their own leagues, which is nice. The WNBA does pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
But it's not being sexist or anything like that. I don't think it translates well. It's just speed and power. It's science. It's science, folks. It's not a gender thing. It's science. It's just, if you want to see somebody get killed out there, go ahead. But that's why they won't do it. It's just a huge risk.
And that I agree with. It comes down to the safety of the player, right? That I get.
And you can't. Actually, the one sport that I think they might actually play in one day is probably baseball. Baseball is a sport where there's no physical contact between players. So, you have good hand-eye coordination and bat speed. You might see a woman play baseball someday. Probably not in our lifetime. Not a full 162-game schedule like a regular player would play, but yep. Could they make an impact? Maybe. It's just the way it is. I don't know. That's why I don't play co-ed sports, folks. You have to either... If you play co-ed sports, I used to play co-ed baseball, softball. If you didn't dial it down, you're a dick. But if you know what I mean? Like, if you went full out, you're a dick too.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
It's tough to find that balance.
It's tough to find... I'm not here for fun, you know what I mean? I'm a competitive guy.
Okay. So we got 3 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Anybody out there have any questions?
Guys,
tell us what you think about the woman playing... or the woman playing kicker for the NCAA team. What do you think, Luke? Do you care?
No.
And that's the problem. So that's why it'll never happen on a larger scale, because nobody cares. It was a story, a feel-good story. She wants to break barriers for other females to play in other sports. I can see that. So a perfect example is NASCAR. So NASCAR is a sport, in my opinion. Loosely.
Yep.
But it's one of those things where...
Danica Patrick is...
Yep. She doesn't drive anymore, I don't think.
No, but she did.
But there are female racers now. But that's something where there's no physical contact. It's a skill, I guess, but it's a sport where you could have that intergender. Wrestling, we all know, is predetermined but real physically. But they can protect each other in the ring. You see men versus female in wrestling all the time, intergender matches. But it's just one of those things. Again, protection. They have the protection knowing that it is, he's not really going to hit you.
So you're talking about any sport where there's no real physical contact.
They would have a legit chance of someday being an actual player in it.
Okay.
But how many sports are like that? Tennis, we see it with tennis.
Yes.
You've seen intergender with tennis, which they've actually done fairly well. Like,
yep.
Sometimes the women beat the men, obviously. Like the top female tennis player in the world would probably in tennis would probably beat the lowest ranked men's player, and I'm being honest with that.
Sure. Yeah.
But the best against the best, there's no chance.
Okay.
If you have Nadal or Federer versus whoever the top female player is, there's no chance.
What about golf?
Golf, no. I think golf is a power sport.
So like someone like a Bryson DeChambeau would
just crush. Yes.
Okay.
Hold on. Women do get to tee off from women's tees.
Yeah.
If they are put back to tee off with the men's tees, it would be
chance.
a completely different game for them.
Okay. Well, there's a significant amount of distance change.
Yeah, you're like in 40, 60 yards.
There's a significant amount of difference.
And when that guy can outdrive you by 150 yards now,
yeah,
you've got to hit it twice to get it where he is.
Okay, so golf is a no. Tennis is a yes. Racing's a yes. So anything that doesn't have physical contact to it.
Golf is interesting though. Like I could see them being very competitive. It would obviously affect their scores when they're teeing off from the pro tees.
But how would you feel about a woman, say, competing in the Masters against the men?
Well, first of all, that's not going to happen. The match.
No,
If we want to talk about this, so Coca-Cola threatened to pull out. I think it was Secretary of State wanted to come and play in the Masters when Obama was. What was her name?
Hillary Clinton?
No. I can't remember who it was, but anyways. She thought she could tell the people at Augusta that she was going to come into the clubhouse and play a round of golf, and they're like, "No, this is a men's club." Yeah,
men's only club. I know.
And Coca-Cola threatened to pull out their sponsorship for the Masters, and the Masters Augusta literally said, "Okay,
yeah, goodbye."
Yeah, like we don't have thousands of sponsors lining up, willing to pay. We're doing you the service of letting you sponsor the event.
Right.
Like, come on, like it's. You're never going to see, is it right? Maybe not, but it is tradition. And I'm cool with tradition. You know what's cool, though? I told you about going to the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
And I got to go back. I'm not trying to be sexist by any means. I'm trying to be realistic here, folks. I don't want to come across that way if it sounds that way. I do applaud this woman for, I don't even know her name, that's bad. But
Sarah Fuller.
Yep. Sarah Fuller. I do applaud her for getting out there and doing it. Yeah, it's just, to me it wasn't real. It was just like a staged, you know. But no disrespect to her at all.
It's a situation where they couldn't put her in harm's way. I
get that. Yep. But what if during the run back, the guy breaks it, and she has to make a tackle and gets destroyed.
Yeah.
And her
stiff arm and her head snaps back.
Oh yeah, break her neck or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
yep.
it's interesting, but.
Hey, Alon.
Hey, Alon. What's going on?
Nice to see you, buddy.
I don't want people to think that me talking this way is a sexist thing. It's not. It's just a realistic. Where could they come in and have some type of effect?
It makes an interesting. I know that you keep, saying that it's not a sexist thing. I don't think you're coming across as a sexist thing. Like, I think it really does. It sounds like you're trying to protect women from injury in a men's sport. Is what it sounds like you're trying to say.
But it's not a men's sport. It's just sport.
In a sport, sure.
Okay.
But in a men's division.
That's why men don't fight women.
We'll say in a men's
division. You see
division.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
That's why men don't fight boxing. Like, they don't fight UFC or fight,
sure.
There's a science behind it. They'd kill them. Like, there's no easy way to say it. We have to protect that. You know what I mean? Like,
I get it. I understand that. Yeah.
So
you went back to Kentucky Derby.
Kentucky Derby.
As we finish up real quick.
So we talked about jockeys being the very first athletes, or like the first ones with their own dressing rooms and such.
Yes.
Kentucky Derby goes back to the 1800s. 1865 I think was the first time they ran it, or around that in that time frame. Slumbo. We'll talk about that on singles night, man.
What do you pick up? Or Lafreniere?
Yeah, you got a Lafreniere out of a box.
Oh, nice.
So, anyways, jockeys similar to NASCAR, obviously. They do have female jockeys in the Kentucky Derby, so I think that's cool. Obviously, there's not a ton of contact between, like, they do bump each other.
Yeah.
But they literally said they might be the toughest athletes on the planet, because men literally say it's not easy to ride that horse for 1 3/4 miles or whatever it is. Like you're getting the physical, the demand on your body is ridiculous to ride that horse. Okay, so obviously the reason that women do that is because they're on par at the size. Like you can only be 1875. Thank you. So you have to be under 110 pounds. So it's the perfect sport for them to get
for
into.
Females to get into because of their natural
because they're
smaller
natural,
size. Because they're smaller size.
That's right.
They're smaller figures.
Nobody's ever won it.
Yeah.
A female's never won the Derby, but kudos to them for being. They are noticed. They're recognized as professional athletes.
I'd be curious to know: has any of them ever been competitive? Second, third? Any idea?
I don't know. I'd have to look.
I would love to know how they finished. Any of the female jockey, what the highest finishing female jockey has been. I don't know if anyone's got that.
Anybody want to give us that stat? Highest. I don't think one's ever won it.
I don't have my phone on it, so.
It'd be a very big deal if they did. And we would know, obviously. Like, that would be something
I think so, yeah.
We would know.
That's like knowing the last Triple Crown winner or whatever, right? So.
Do you know the last Triple Crown?
I'm thinking...
It was like 2 years ago.
American Dream, wasn't it?
I don't know. Was it a... No, yeah, maybe. Dusty Rhodes?
Yeah, I think it was American Dream.
But anyways, we didn't get to do our new segment tonight where we do the yes or no.
Oh, no, we did not.
Something coming up new for next week. We will have a, what is it going to be, like a lightning round?
Yes.
A lightning round in which I throw, it'll be different subjects every week. I'll throw 10 names or teams at Brandon, and it's a simple yes or no answer. It's something we're going to debut next week that we're looking forward to. New format coming up. I like the, what time is it too?
Yeah. Yep.
Tell us what you guys think.
We'll
Give us some feedback on that. We're gonna do some graphics for that and such. But as for tonight, it's been a fun show. Pretty smooth. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
After 2 weeks off, I think we did all right.
And you got a big announcement for Thursday, I think.
Huge announcement. If you guys watch Singles Night, huge announcement. We just went from here, off the screen, 5th in the 2013 Kentucky Derby.
Okay, that's good.
So that's the highest place ever.
Highest place ranking,
that's respectable.
That's very respectable.
I think they've got 12 horses, 12 to 18 horses, I think.
Yeah.
But massive, massive announcement coming on Thursday night. A hint, we just picked up a new sponsor.
Yeah.
And you guys are going to win some prizes from this sponsor. I'm totally jacked. It is literally my favorite restaurant in Chatham. I don't want to give away too much, but you guys are going to love it. We're going to give away, actually, a meal. I think we're giving away a meal, a takeout meal.
Finishing 9th and 5th. History is being made every year at the Kentucky Derby. That sounds like you found that on Wikipedia.
Way to copy it.
Copied from Google.
Way to copy and paste. That's my wife, folks. She's our stat.
We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Obviously, in stat finding, Alex did beat her, though. So.
Yeah, Alex did beat her.
So.
Whatever. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching along. And if you're watching on the replay, like the show, give us the thumbs up. If you didn't like the show, let us know as well. Send me the meal to Israel. No, man. No.
How long we miss you, buddy?
We missed. Yeah, where you been, man? Like,
yeah, we got a new guy from Denver who just actually showed up today.
New guy from Denver as well. Pretty fun times.
Yeah.
Definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. If you're watching on the replay. If we offended you, that's kind of the thing, part of the show.
That's why there's the disclaimer.
We have the disclaimer. I apologize in advance usually, but we didn't go off the rails tonight. We didn't get too excited.
No, but the talk was great.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
The talk was great.
Pretty good. And Matt Nagy, get the
Yeah, didn't miss a beat. It was good.
Yeah, after 2 weeks off, I thought we did all right. Anyways, time to head her home and have a good night, everybody.
All right, see you guys.